Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing briefly my thoughts on episode 4 of the anime series, WataMote. And this was a pretty fun and entertaining episode, I thought, in the lengths to which Tomoko will go in the awkwardness factor and the sort of backward thinking direction that she's going. She basically starts in this episode late at night. She's reading an article online about how to have wet dreams, essentially, and she figures, this is going to be something to help her, mind smooth over all of this stuff that she's been failing at, trying to be popular and all that kind of stuff. And she tries all the processes by which this website tells her to achieve this goal with disastrous effects. She ends up having more nightmares than anything else about animals and bugs and things attacking her and all that kind of stuff that just makes her wig out and uncomfortable. So, feeling somewhat dejected when she goes to school the next day, she's looking at all these fellow classmates, these popular girls in her class, and overhearing these discussions about how they've been molested, fondled on the train to and from school and as such. And she figures, well, that must be a sure sign of whether I'm popular or not. If I get fondled, I'll be popular. Absolutely backward thinking. She ends up riding the train several times. She even calls her friend Yu to find out has she ever been fondled on the train and such. And her friend tells her, no, I usually ride with friends. And she figures, people will be very closely knit on the train, yet she finds when she's riding it herself, that is to say Tomoko, she's completely by herself. Everyone is at arm's length and stuff like that. So it's just failing miserably. And finally, when she's about to give up, when she realizes the horror of what she's actually brought herself to thinking, it happens, or at least she thinks it happens. What turns out to be a couple of fellow classmates, carrying around, I believe they're called naginatas or whatever, these sort of bamboo, swords for practice and stuff like that in martial arts studies and stuff. It ends up getting caught between her legs. She tries to run out the train at the next stop and is completely embarrassed when she realizes what this thing is that has crawled up in between her legs and stuff. And it's insane. You want to weep for this character almost when you're not, laughing. You're stifling laughing at the lengths that it's going. Now, of course, once again, dejected, she goes back to school, and she's like, well, all the popular girls, okay, they get molested. Why did they get molested? Maybe it's because you can see the bra straps coming through their, dress clothes in school and everything like that. She calls her friend Yu. She decides to try to go and buy herself some new lingerie to achieve this goal, and it just is disastrous again because she ends up wigging out Yu, who thinks she's like coming on to her, kind of, and she's being very pervy about the whole situation. She brings the panties they buy home and ends up losing them because her brother comes barging into her room looking for ramens and stuff, and she goes to school the next day thinking she doesn't know where they are, wipes her forehead, of sweat, and all of a sudden the teacher's right there, awkward as ever, staring at her holding these panties, and it's just, I'm dying of laughter at the same time. I'm like, God, I'm so thankful I never got to this point in the awkwardness of my teens, and anyone watching who is still in their teens, I hope you're learning lessons with this show. Of course, she goes home after treating herself to a guy-on-guy dating game and winning the prize of one of those shoulder vibrators, not that that would be in any way awkward, walking through, a mall with that stuff, which she actually says, and she ends up going home, passing out from a day not so well spent, and the father comes home bringing cake from a client or whatever, opens her door to try to, give her the cake, and he's just stunned, much as the teacher was twice in the episode, puts her to bed, and we finally see toward the end of the episode that she's smiling. Is it that the day is over? Is it that she's finally achieved the dream she set out to? I guess that's left to us to decide, but I love this show. It's just absolutely captivatingly funny and has great commentary in it, of course, of the awkward wallflower stages of teenageism, And so I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of this episode if you've seen it. And otherwise, that'll be it from me. And I'll catch you later. Peace.